2024 AHIP. What is it, and how do you get 100% on it first try? In this video, I'm going to break down the new AHIP for Medicare insurance agents and everything you need to know to pass it easily.
This video is brought to you by none other than Hire Heroes, you guys. Hire Heroes is your one-stop shop when it comes to virtual staffing and making sure that you have qualified talent with your business. One thing that I love about Hire Heroes, you guys, is they've actually gone through the process already of vetting and making sure that your staff member is well trained to best fit your needs. Whether you need help with social media work, posting things on your accounts, responding to people that send messages to your social media accounts, whether you need help with data entry or a multitude of other things that they're qualified to do, Hire Heroes has got you covered. If you're having trouble finding quality talent and number two, affording to be able to run payroll for that talent, Hire Heroes has got you covered with an affordable alternative to have a virtual assistant working for your business. There's a link down in the description of this video to where you can learn more about getting your own VA through Hire Heroes. I certainly recommend it. They're what we use in our business for all of our virtual assistant needs, and you will want to make sure that you check them out today.
AHIP stands for America's Health Insurance Producers. It's a third-party company that does a yearly Medicare Advantage and Part D prescription drug plan certification that Medicare agents are required to take year in and year out, not only to sell products for Medicare Advantage and Part D prescription drug plan carriers, but also to retain the agent's book of business. If somebody failed, let's say 1 year, to do a certification and they had some clientele on the books of any kind, they would cease to get commissions in the form of renewals from that carrier. So it's required. Pretty much every single Medicare Advantage plan except for one requires the AHIP certification, okay? So every single year it comes out, every single year I make a video about how you can pass this thing. Agents live in fear, especially new agents live in fear of the AHIP certification. They make it out to be the boogeyman in their mind. And I actually was an agent early on in my career that made it out to be the boogeyman when I was in my first couple of years. But it's not nearly as difficult as it needs to be in your mind, okay? So the AHIP certification, it does have a cost. It costs $175. Now, typically, if you go through one of the insurance carriers to do your AHIP and order it through them, you get a discounted price of $50, bringing it down to $125. It is a 50-question test. It is timed at 2 hours, and you must get a 90% score or above. You have 3 tries to do this. Now, with a 90% score and 50 questions, that means you can't miss any more than 5 questions, okay? Now, remember, you have 3 tries to accomplish this. Now, with AHIP, you also have 5 training modules that you go through. So essentially the way it works is when you go in and when you pay, you then have access to the course. You have 5 training modules all on different topics. Some are just on Medicare basics, some are on Medicare marketing rules, some are on compliance, some are on election periods, and they're going to go through a different section on each of these training modules. Now, in years past, you had to go through all of these required and click through all the slides and read through all the slides in order to take the final exam. Now, this year, you do not have to do that. It is optional to go through the actual slides and presentations of modules 1 through 3. Why is that? Because modules 1 through 3 are the same old Medicare information. What's Part A? What's Part B? What's Medicare Advantage? What's Medicare Supplement? Then, at the end of every single module, there is a review test with review questions. That's 20 questions each that you can take to practice on for the final exam. Now, why is that important? Why do these practice questions matter? You could get a 0% on the practice question and still be able to move on to the next module. So why do they matter? Well, because a majority of the questions on your final exam for AHIP are going to be on these practice questions. In fact, I counted 45 of my questions on my 50-question AHIP test were on the practice test. So if you go through the practice test, this is what I encourage agents to do. You want to go through AHIP, you want to read through AHIP, you want to make sure that you are learning the material. But then when you get to the end of the module and you get to the practice questions, you want to take them very seriously. You want to pass them as well as you possibly can and give it your all, and keep doing it until you have 100% score on the practice questions. You have unlimited attempts to take the practice tests. Once you've been able to do that on modules 1 through 5, you will be well equipped to absolutely dominate AHIP in general. Now, I am a 10-year veteran, so I can get through it a little bit easier than you might as a newbie if you are new and watching this, okay? I got 100% in one sitting on my first try. If you don't get 100% your first try, don't let it discourage you. You have 2 additional tries, but understand that this is an open book test. And when I mean it's an open book test, it truly is an open book test. And the practice questions are the exact same questions verbatim as the majority of the final exam. Now, once you've passed the final exam, you then have a fraud, waste, and abuse section that you have to go through. The fraud, waste, and abuse section is not nearly as difficult as the actual AHIP certification. The fraud, waste, and abuse section has, for one, unlimited attempts. So you don't have 3 tries. You can take it as many times as you need to get through that section. So it's not nearly as difficult as it might sound. Once you pass AHIP, you will then be able to sync it with all your different Medicare Advantage carriers and satisfy that requirement for 2024 AEP and going into 2024 selling. So understand it's not the boogeyman. Understand it's an open book test. The practice tests are very important because those are your final exam questions. And if you understand that and take it seriously and put the time in, it's going to probably take you several hours to get through this AHIP certification. You can be able to do it. It's not that hard. You can do this. And as long as you're willing to put the work in and you're not lazy and you read and you pay attention and you do the practice questions, you should be able to whiz right through this thing. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear your feedback. Did you take AHIP already for 2024? Did you not? I'd love to have some feedback down in the comment sections. If you found this video helpful and you believe that other agents and other people like you who are thinking about getting into this field or are already in this field and want to know about AHIP for 2024, like this video. Smash that like button for the algorithm. It's going to help more people just like you find this content easier. Make sure to subscribe if you like these kind of videos. We'll be back next time with another video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Here's to your success and your abundance, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.